Salute, YouTube. How's everybody doing? Um, so, Alite finally addressed me. He was going to have to sooner or later. But leave it to him. He not only got all the facts wrong, but he also took it too far because that's the kind of shit Alite does. Before I get started, I want to thank everybody who's already in the room, everybody that's already watching. We got 78 people. Super chats are welcome, guys, because this video will probably get 20,000 views and I won't get paid a dime for it because when I'm done with my little rant, there's no chance of this getting monetized. So I got a message from somebody on Instagram that John Alite made a little video, a little fruity video. He's in his pink shirt and his little Daisy Dukes, and it's some stuff stood out to me. Like he said at one point, now I'm going to get into Sammy Gravano. Listen, never say words like I'm going to get into Sammy Gravano when you're wearing a pink shirt and Daisy Dukes. Okay, people might get the wrong idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and play you this. Now, some of you probably already heard it. I actually hope not, because what's up, Mob Rats Exposed? I'd like for you guys to hear it first here, but if you did, that's fine. This starts out talking about Sammy the Bull. Now, this is long. The beginning was about John Gotti Jr., of course, because he couldn't speak two sentences without mentioning his fucking name. So I'm just going to start it at the point where he starts talking about Sammy, and then he finally gets to me. All right, so here we go. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you can hear this okay.
But I'm going to get into Sammy Gravano now, who stepped in to protect the Gottis all of a sudden. He's a guy that can't control the Gottis himself for years. He's talking to me about how to handle families and kids. This is a man that killed his brother-in-law. This is a man that killed a 15-year-old kid. And this is a man that sold drugs with his own family. I have not a bad word to say about his children ever. And I don't talk about anybody's kids. But if they can open that door, I can open that door completely with all these guys. I have thick skin. Anybody that wants to go after me on this personal level and my family personal, I can do the same thing. And it's childish. They're supposed to be above this. We're supposed to be grown men and adults. That life's over. And guys like Sammy Gravano, I'm asking you straight out. Tell people how many people you shot out of those 19 people. Tell people how many people you stabbed. Stop being a politician and ducking those questions. Because you know as far as I did, you did shit. You guys with all these titles, but you're hiding in a cave like Bin Laden in Arizona. If you're that tough guy you want to talk, you're not an underboss. You're no different than Spider who cleaning shoes for people. You carried the umbrella for John Gotti Sr. That's what you did. You want to bullshit people? Go ahead, tell people what you really did yourself. You're not Johnny Alite. All you guys that talk like this, you know I changed my life. And you wouldn't be too sure, even if I changed my life, these cameras weren't out here. Because I was the guy doing this stuff. And anybody else that talks about wanting to fight me, I'm not a little child. The only reason we talked about a fight deal is pay-per-view, the fight business, UFC, Phil Baroni. They asked us to fight for money, big money, $1 million money. I says, the rest of these kids that want to talk about fighting, they go in the ring and fight somebody else. Let me watch you fight somebody at your age. You act like children, all you guys. Grow up. This ain't about our egos. This is about you learning some humility and doing this for the kids that are out there, the youth that are in trouble, and do the right thing, a positive thing for once. Stop making this about us. This has nothing to do with us. And as far as the Sicilian guy, Sammy, that you put up to this, he's advocating he doesn't like me because Johnny Depp died. Johnny Depp was a gang rapist, convicted. He beat a girl almost to death. Johnny Depp shot the boyfriend because he was contested by Sal Tamasuro. He shot Frankie DeNeo. Know your facts. And Sicilian, whatever your name is, you got a wife. How would you like your wife being beaten to half to death and being raped by 5 guys? Guys better get your facts straight. And what you're doing, you better change directions. Because I'm the only guy that's out here day after day trying to advocate for kids. We were all pieces of shit before. I start with myself and I call myself a piece of shit always. This isn't about me. This ain't about being tough guys. This is about being grown men, adults at your ages. You all should be ashamed of yourselves. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Okay. So first of all, He says, I'm advocating for not liking him. This is another Alite gaff. He's an idiot. He doesn't even know what the fucking word advocate means. He's a moron. Even he speaks worse than he writes. The people who think this guy is intelligent, oh my God. I'd love to see you write 3 sentences. He says, I don't like him because Johnny Gebert got murdered. Guys, you've heard that story. My only connection to Johnny Gebert is he came to my cousin's house the night before Easter when I was like 10 years old and terrorized my entire family, okay? Because he was looking for his girlfriend so he could beat her around a little bit more than he already did. I think Johnny Gebert was a scumbag. I don't give a fuck about Johnny Gebert. Are you kidding me? And he thinks that's why I don't like him? There's no way he hasn't been watching. See, this is his narrative. Sammy hired me, right? I work for Sammy because there's no possible way there could be people out there that don't like John Alite unless they've been hired by the Gaudis or Sammy, right? There's tens of thousands, if not millions of people who don't like this motherfucker. And it's because he's a prick. He's a lying asshole. He's an animal and he's full of shit. And you can't go 3 seconds without seeing his face on a YouTube video or documentary, and he's lying constantly and spewing his horse shit nonstop all over the place for 7 years now. That's why people don't like him. I don't give a fuck about Johnny Gebert. Are you serious? And you want to talk about what a rapist he was? He was your boy, not mine. That was your friend, and that was John Gotti Jr.'s friend. Shame on him. Okay, are you serious? You think that's why I'm doing this? Have you not heard? Have your little minions not filled you in on what my problem is with you? Listen to this, please, John Alite, because I'll tell you what. You want to talk about people harassing your daughter and showing pics of her behind and all that shit? Listen, I'm not going to bring your daughter into this. But first of all, she put those pictures on Instagram, okay? After she threatened me and threatened Mob Rats Exposed and everybody else, I looked at her Instagram. That's all it is on there. Okay, and I don't agree with anybody putting those pictures out, even though they're already public. I saw those on Instagram on somebody's page, and I didn't agree with it at all. I didn't like it. I didn't comment because I didn't agree with that at all. I would never bring your daughter into it. But what if I said something? What if I did? And what if I said something like you just said? What if I said, what if your daughter got held down and raped and beaten by 5 guys? Would you not take that as a threat? Because the way it sounded to me, sounded kind of like a threat when you brought my wife into it and said something like that. Okay. And once again, if we didn't know already what a humongous piece of shit you are, you just showed us again. You gave us another example. Okay. This is who you are. You couldn't even come at me without bringing my wife into it. Okay. And you had to say something vulgar like that, knowing if you've listened to anything, even your friend Sonny Money knows about my wife's videos. She's been raped. Okay. And I'm sure you saying something like that is a trigger for her. I had to stop her from hearing it because I'm afraid that might throw her into a tailspin, rightfully so. Okay. Because I'm sure there's some trauma there. How could there not be? So this is just another example of you being exactly who you are, and you can't do anything right. You could have just came at me and addressed me, but no, you had to bring my wife into it. Okay. Because you're a scumbag. Okay, and you can't not hit below the belt. And you have the nerve to talk about John Gotti Jr. hitting below the belt. Are you serious? I listened to your stupid little interview with that fruit on MCSC or whatever the fuck his stupid network is. All you do is whine and bitch and moan. And why is John Gotti Jr. always picking on me? Why? For the 19th fucking time, because you ratted on him, dickhead. You tried to get him the fucking lethal injection, okay? And then you terrorized his family ever since, and you still do. You still have the balls to come out and talk shit about Angel Gotti and say what kind of, you insult her and all kinds of stuff like that. This is what you do with your time. Let me explain something to you about when you do something like what you did. Okay, when you testify against somebody the way you did, you deserve anything they throw at you from that day forward, my friend. Okay, anything. If he spends the rest of his life trying to make you miserable, look in the mirror and thank yourself for it, because you're the only one to blame. All right, somebody does something like that to you and then spends the rest of his life building a career, off of John Gotti Jr.'s name, writing books that give the impression that they're actually a Gotti book just so you can make a few sales, lying about him, lying about his family, trashing his father, who is one of the most respected men in the history of organized crime, if not in history in general, considering what he did and how unbreakable he was. You're going to do shit like that and then whine about why are they picking on me? And then you say Sammy. I don't even want to defend Sammy, but Sammy couldn't. Sammy held Senior's umbrella. He was a nothing. He held Senior's umbrella. Well, guess what? You held Junior's umbrella. Okay. Either way, you're way below, levels below Sammy the Bull Gravano. So what the fuck are you really talking about? You sound like a moron as usual, idiot. Every fucking thing you say that comes out of your mouth is stupider than the last. Okay. So I think you need to clarify your position, okay? I'm not somebody that asks for apologies, and I'm not asking for one now, but I think you need to clarify your position on what you said and the fact that you made that comment while talking about my wife, because some of your idiot asshole followers might take something like that as a call to action, and you know that, okay? And if I said that about your daughter or, you know, whoever else you might have in your life, we already know you'd be calling the fucking cops, because that's what you do anytime you perceive anything as a threat. You're a fucking rat. You can't wait to run and tell on people, because that's what you do. You tell. Okay? I don't do that shit. All right? So I'm not going to sit here and call the cops and say, I think he threatened my wife. No. You need to come out. If you want to look like any kind of fucking man, especially somebody who has the balls to say you advocate for kids, you should come back out like a fucking man. You can wear your little pink shirt and your Daisy Dukes, okay, and come out and say that's not what I meant. I was saying it in the context of Johnny Gebert or whatever, because you know what? You probably were. But knowing you had to throw that in there anyway, just because you know how it would be taken, and you want to plant that fucking idea in people's heads, all these little maniacs and fucking losers that follow you and believe every word you say. You just planted a seed in their head. Okay, I wouldn't do that shit. I wouldn't plant that seed in the heads of people about your daughter or your mother or a girlfriend or anybody else you have in your fucking life. So again, you within a few sentences told us everything we need to know about you. Okay, and you sound stupid too. Get a little bit off me. You sound stupid talking about Sam. You realize how dumb you sound again with the fucking competition over body counts. Let me tell you something. The less people you kill, the better. That's how life works. It's not good to be a killer, okay? It makes you a scumbag. So you're sitting here talking about Sammy the Bull like he ain't shit because he killed less people than he said he did. First of all, I highly doubt it. He killed a hell of a lot more people than you did. You killed one, okay? And you take credit for like 6 that you didn't even have any fucking part in, okay? You would implicate yourself in crimes just so you could later go on and say that you committed those crimes, okay? Because you think that makes you some fucking buddy. Because your whole life you've been a fucking nobody. You know that shit, okay? So for you to be talking about Sammy, what kind of stupid shit is that? Sammy's 1,000 light years ahead of you, and you would give your left nut to be Sammy for one fucking day, okay? To even be Italian, no less somebody who was an underboss and helped run a family. I listened to your idiot interview today, and I'm telling you, 45 minutes in, I got 5 pages of shit that I could call you out on, and I'm going to. I wasn't even, you know what I mean? Like every time I think, let me take a break on this guy. Let me let it go. He's not coming back at me. Fuck it. Every time I do some shit like that, and I get to that point where I'm like, maybe I'll leave it alone a little bit. You come out with some shit like this. And why am I not surprised? Because that's just like you. You got no class. You're not a gentleman. You're a fucking bum. And this is the way you have to, make yourself feel like you're somehow getting even or getting ahead because somebody's talking bad about you. You got to bring their wife into it or their kids. Now you're threatening to do the same thing with the Gotti family. Like you haven't done enough. Let me explain to you again, my friend. You've done more than enough. You testified against the man and tried to get him executed. Okay. Then you created your whole image, your whole life, your whole persona, your whole career around the name of that family, the Gotti name. Okay. Then you lied for years and continue to about your involvement with them. You tried to say you had sex with John Gotti Jr.'s sister. John Gotti Sr.'s daughter. Okay, you know you didn't. She took a polygraph test and passed. Okay, then you lie about your involvement with Senior and how many times you've been at the Ravenite, and how many times you've been at his house. And we all know that's bullshit because every picture or video you have is easily explainable. Okay, you can't come out like a man like I do and just say, I wasn't a big deal at all. Okay, I'll tell you that shit all day. I was a fucking nobody. Okay, but you weren't a nobody. Okay, you were a somebody, but you could at least say who you were. You could at least just say I was an associate. That's it. That's all I was. Nobody special. No, I met Senior, but I didn't know him that well. No, you can't because you're full of shit and you're a fake guy in general. In general, there's nothing genuine about you. Okay, and if this pisses you off, good. Okay, because I have every reason to be pissed off myself right now. This is not just one of my regular rants about you. Okay, you want to be pissed off about them, fine. This time you were in the wrong. Okay, you did exactly what Sammy was talking about on his recording, not bringing people's families into it, and you went and brought mine into it. Idiot. And then you have the balls to tell Sammy he's wrong on the very same stupid Instagram video that you called me out on. And the beginning of it is about Junior. He keeps railing at Junior. I didn't even finish what I was saying. I mean, all those things you did, and then you continue to do, and you trash the father, and then you come back and praise the father, and now you're threatening to go back after Junior and his sisters and his mother and whoever else and their kids. Oh, why is he always picking on me? Why not? Okay? Why not? You're the guy that did what you did to him. You did the worst possible thing somebody could do to another human being. Okay? And then you compounded it 1,000 times over by doing more and more shit to the same guy and his family. And you have the fucking nerve to say, why is he picking on me? You're lucky that's all he's doing, considering what you did. You talk so much about the life and Cosa Nostra, then you know damn well that you're lucky to be walking the earth. Getting picked on. Thin-skinned motherfucker, I swear to God. Anyway, before I go on, I want to look at some comments and talk to you guys a little bit. And then I got more. Ricky Rice, nobody should bring her up. You're absolutely right. I never brought up his daughter. I never brought up anyone in his family. I didn't even say his brother's name until his brother came on Lee Cole the other day. And even then, I didn't really disrespect him. I just called out his bullshit on some of his answers. Okay. That's what you do. Same thing as in the street. You got beef with somebody, you keep it with them. Nobody else. Carlos, I lost you. Carlos Muniz, straight coward he is. Absolutely. That's exactly what he is. Sorry if I seem a little pissed off today, guys, but I am. Earl Gavin, thank you. I appreciate it. Let me find you so I can put you up on the screen. Earl Gavin, $5. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. There's no way this video is getting monetized. Trust me. They already won't monetize half of them anyway, but it is what it is. Anthony Ferranti, what a piece of work he is. He really hit you below the belt. That was uncalled for. Yeah, absolutely. It was a stupid thing to say. And I don't care what he says. I don't care if he says, no, I was just talking about the fact, even if you think I like Johnny Gebert, which is ridiculous. Okay. Even if he said something like, I just said that because I was saying it in the context of what Johnny Gebert did to that girl, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Don't say it. Don't say that. All you got to do is say, what are you standing up for a rapist? Which is ridiculous anyway, because I don't give two fucks about him. It's a stupid thing. If anything, he was a terrorist in my life, not a friend. I don't care about him. You didn't have to bring her up at all. You didn't have to say a word. But Are you willing to challenge Alite to a spelling contest? Any day of the week, my friend. Any day of the week. Gladly. Red, did I tell you I shot Johnny Gebert? Oh, shit, guys. I can't not laugh. You know what I mean? Let's see. Mob Rats, A-Light Brothers will feel the trolls. Hey, listen, guys. I'm not advocating for anything. I'm not encouraging anything. But if people just wanted to, I don't know, let him know in the comments of every video he makes from here forth that he was wrong and he needs to clarify his position. If all you guys wanted to do something like that, I'm just saying, feel free. You have the right? It's more respectful than what he did. So do what you got to do. I won't be mad at you. Hold on one second. Hey, what's up, Jimmy? Yeah, I'm actually on live right now. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, nothing. I'm doing a live. Can I call you after this? Because I want to fill you in on something. All right, thanks. All right, bye. It was Jimmy. I need to speak to him. So, yes, Passing Me By, JC and McCallie. That is my shit. I love that song. And the instrumental, crazy. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not encouraging anything other than, a few comments. And even that I'm not encouraging. I wouldn't do that. Certainly not encouraging any type of doxing or anything like that that could be perceived as illegal or outside the boundaries of the YouTube guidelines. Nothing like that. Just saying. You want to let them know how you feel about this? That's your right. Why not? Oh my God. Oh wow, look at this. That's amazing. Give me 1 second. Angry Sig, A-Light had his mom iron his pink shirt and Daisy Dukes for his video for sure. Thank you, Angry Sig. Thank you for the 5. Hunting Times, that's amazing. That's really, really kind of you. I appreciate that so much. You have no idea. Thank you. Thank you for real. That was really nice of you. Yeah, everybody's giving you a thumbs up because that was awesome. I had to give it to you for that. Stacosa News, FBS, you have to expect this nonsense on public platforms. It's a soap opera, plain and simple. See, that's the thing. I know. And I'm going to get a million comments now. People are going to be like, how could you, what are you crying for? He fucking, you say shit about him all the time. You make videos about him constantly. Yeah, I know that. That's why I said, come at me all fucking day. Make fun of my appearance, my voice, my fucking gaudy picture, whatever the fuck you want to make fun of all day. I don't care. But just like anything else, there's a line that can be crossed, and he crossed it. You don't bring my wife into it. Just like I didn't bring his daughter into it. Even after his daughter came on my fucking page and threatened me. In 10 different ways she threatened me. Okay? And she threatened other people. And you know what I did out of respect? And this is the God's honest truth. I read her message. I commented back once, and it was just a little joke. She said something like, oh, my father isn't going to like this. And I said something like, it wasn't even a joke. It was like, did you really think I expected him to? And that was it. I blocked her. You know why? Because I didn't want to be a dick. I didn't want to come back the wrong way. I didn't want to say anything disrespectful to a man's daughter. period. Okay, that's what, usually the old me would have just, destroyed her on there. I wouldn't fucking do that now, period. Okay, I've grown up. I'm not gonna insult any woman or girl like that. Okay, and especially not a man's daughter and a girl who honestly is just sticking up for her father. I wasn't even really mad at her. Okay, that's fine. But my wife didn't say shit to you. She didn't get involved in any of this. Okay, she didn't come at you directly. There's no reason for you to bring her into this shit. So you're wrong. So anybody who says, "Oh, you can't take your thin skin," go fuck yourself. Okay, because if you don't realize what I'm saying, then you're not a real man either. You're a clown. Frankie Calabra, MRE, I'm sure will destroy him. I have a feeling he might. And Mob Rats is more than welcome to handle this how he sees fit. And he knows he will always get appreciation out of me. Southie 31, Shanna is such a doll too. She is. And you know what? She's been through a lot. She's been through something similar to what he's talking about. And that's what makes it really fucked up. He wants to talk about check the facts. Well, maybe check into who you're talking about before you say something like that, stupid. Okay? Check the facts. Idiot. He doesn't even know that I fucking would piss on Johnny Gebhardt's grave. I don't give a fuck about him. He says I'm fucking, come on. I'm mad because he killed whatever he claims he did to Johnny Gebhardt. That's fucking ridiculous. Mob Rat says, I will make a video on your family, a like. Yeah, Mob Rat's is savage. Hey, you do whatever you see fit, my friend. Frankie Calabria, your wife is a peach, a wonderful person. Thank you. All right, guys. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going to smoke a cigarette too. I know I shouldn't, and I hate doing that on camera. It makes me look stupid and feel stupid, but I'm stressed out, and I just got done eating spaghetti and meatballs, so I could use one. I am also hot as a motherfucker, by the way. I might have to turn this up. Sorry for the background noise. All right, so I want to get into this idiot's interview today, okay? Somebody let me know. I think it was Tony Buongiorno. I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. When I double check, I'll shout out whoever it was. But they let me know that he did a second interview with Pleatherface today, okay? Thank you, Jesse Gotti. Hold on, guys. I'm just reading a couple of comments. Mob Rats, hey, like I said, you do what you got to do. That's my boy right there, and he always sticks up for my wife. So you don't want him on your ass, okay? Mob Rats, if you think he's done damage to you already, Jesus Christ, I don't even want to know what he's capable of. That's why I will remain friends with Mob Rats Exposed forever. I don't want none of those videos done on me. So, all right, I'm going to get into this interview. First, and you know whose video this is, Paulie D, that fucking weirdo. And I'm sorry, I don't want to talk shit about anybody I don't know. And I was real careful last time, but it's about time I just say this. That is one of the strangest characters I've ever come across in my life. That I can't wrap my mind around all this. It's very strange. And the blowout, I don't know what the fuck he had done to himself, but Jesus Christ almighty. Wow. And the how do I say this? You know what? I'm going to leave it alone because I don't know how to say it the right way. I don't think there is a right way. I want to just put something back on the screen for a minute. If I can find it. Just give me 1 second, guys, and I will get into this. Oh, man. I'm sorry, guys. All right, I might have lost that comment already. I can't seem to find it. I'm trying to find that super chat again. I want to thank Hunting Times again, man. That was really, really kind to you. I know I repeat myself a lot, but I'm very grateful for that, and that helps, especially at a time like this. So, second interview, he talks even more. It starts out, okay, with more Patreon horseshit. Okay, it's like I said, this guy is like a walking advertising, or should I say, a sitting advertisement for John Alite. Pushing all of his horseshit merchandise and his Patreon and all his other scams. So they spend the first, I don't know, 10 minutes talking about the Patreon again. Leatherface is like, how about you start with the $8 plan and then you move to 15? Okay. And then he goes on to talk about the baseball bats, of course. He wants to talk more about what a great idea the baseball bats are. Why you should hurry up that shipping time. Get that fixed so you can get those bats to people faster. Yeah, that's such a cheap thing to do, to act like that with somebody. It's not. It's bad enough that he kisses his ass again, I can't say what I want to say. Let's just say talks about Alite's appearance and build constantly. Listen, I don't. The day that I start looking at men, and the first thing I notice is how jacked they are, I'm just gonna tell my wife, listen, it's we got to get a divorce because apparently I'm not into girls. That's all I'm saying. It's very weird, very strange, very moving on. So then Paulie D talks about Junior, and I'm not even going to insult Paulie D like that. You know what I mean? I'm going to stick with Leatherface. And that's Mob Rats too. I got to give him credit. I believe that one is his also. But I haven't come up with one yet, so I'll stick with Leatherface because I don't even like Paulie G. Paulie G is the wackest DJ in the history of DJing. The fact that he even calls himself any real DJ knows, if you've seen Paulie D DJ, his success in DJing has nothing to do with actual DJing. He's terrible. But you know what? I don't want to, even though he's kind of a douche, I don't even want to insult him by comparing him to that other dude at all. Apex Predator 69, 24.99. Thank you so much, Frankie. I appreciate that, man. You're a good dude. He says FBS Alite's a scumbag for going after your wife. Not right. Guy's a piece of shit. Karma's a bitch. Love you, brother. Love you too, man. And you're right. That was fucked up, man. No matter how you look at it. I don't care if you hate my guts. You can't say that shit was right. And I hope kids like Sonny Money, I hope you're on here. I would never try to turn you against John Alite. I know he's somebody you like and look up to, and that's up to you. I'm not going to try to sway anybody. Everybody can form their own opinion about people. But after you see this, I hope you reconsider looking up to him, okay, as any kind of role model. Okay, because even you said, my wife is a sweetheart and she makes those good videos. And my wife has even offered to help you and would love to hear from you. So, she's nothing but heart. She's an absolute angel in my life, and she deserves respect. And, think about that before you defend this guy anymore or continue to look up to him. So, oh, my bad, bro. That was the wrong one. Don Vito, Cassio Ferro. Alite doesn't understand Cosa Nostra. He doesn't even understand being a man. He doesn't understand being a gentleman. He doesn't understand anything. This is why, what streets? Like, I don't understand. Like, this is a street guy. Some of the shittiest street guys I know, some of the fucking worst low-life scumbags I know won't bring a woman into something. You know what I mean? Like, What streets? What kind of street guy was this? Honestly, idiot. All right, hold on. I'm getting back to this. I just want to see one comment I just saw. Hold on 1 second, guys. I swear I'm getting to it. All right, I can't find it. It was something about Sunny Money, but I can't find it. So, all right. Anyway, let me move on. So then, Paulie D, my bad, Leatherface, talks about Junior picking on John Alite. Okay, why does he do that to you? What do you think that is? What the fuck? And I'm sorry, bro. So he goes, and I'm sure these are questions. John Alite probably wrote his questions for him. He's just so happy, you know what I mean, that he'll get a bunch of hits off Alite's interview. He'll do whatever he asks, and so he starts whining about why is Junior always picking on you. We've already gone over that, so I'm not going to go over it again. Oh, that's what he said. He said, Paulie D said he talks about Junior picking on him, and he says, even though you were at Junior's wedding and gave the most money, so a big wedding gift cancels out all the shit he did later? What the fuck are you talking about? Who made it? How did you get that studio and stuff? How are you an interviewer? What the fuck is going on YouTube? Holy shit, people say I'm a nobody. Have you listened to this dude interview Alite? Christ almighty. Jesus. And I doubt Alite gave him the most money. There was captains, bosses, everything there. But even if he did, I mean, that matters. And he loves, he's like, I gave him $5,000. $5,000? I mean, really? You were making $10 million a day. That's what you gave him? And that was the biggest, really? You're telling me there wasn't people in his life, family, maid guys, shit like that didn't give John Jr. more, especially given his position at the time. And everybody knows in that life, as they say in The Sopranos, you're only good as your last envelope. You're only as good as your last envelope. So you think $5,000 on a guy's wedding like that, that's the top gift he got out of, the 300 people he had there. Yeah, I have a hard time believing that, but that was a dumb thing to say too. Then he says, Alite says this, the reign of the Gotti family was from 82 to 83 when Gotti took the position. I know what you guys are already thinking. And this is probably something he's unaware of, just like he was unaware of Gotti being convicted in the Castellano murder. Gotti didn't take the position until 85. So that was dumb also. But, whatever. Maybe he just meant, I don't know. Who knows what the hell he meant. But I'm going by what he actually said. Then he said, before I left, okay, he talks about how Junior was right with what he said about not seeing Alite after 90, okay, or 91. He hadn't seen Alite after 91, and Alite says that's because Alite went to jail, okay? Now, that brings into question a whole lot of things he says later on in the interview. But he says, before I left, we knew Bobby Borriello might have a problem because of the Castellano hit, and we wanted to take care of it, but Gotti didn't want to give us the okay. Okay, now who knows? That might possibly be true, but does that make any sense to anyone? You're telling me that, first of all, the Castellano hit, that's why Bobby Borriello was in trouble? And then Bobby Borriello was in danger, and everybody knew this, but John Gotti Jr. said, no, you can't take care of that. You just got to let it go. We're just going to let Bobby Borriello get killed. Okay. Then he says Junior is telling the truth, like I said, telling the truth about not seeing him since 91 because he got locked up. Jimmy Alite says it was because, yeah, this is the thing. Jimmy Alite says it was because, and you guys just heard this on Lee Cole's show like 2 days ago. Jimmy Alite said, no, John wasn't chased. The reason they parted ways was John's decision. John Alite decided, to walk away from John Gotti Jr. But right here, he says, no, we were still okay and we were still friendly and we saw each other later on. But we didn't really see each other after 91 because I got locked up. So which is it, guys? They need to powwow and, get their fucking story straight. Let's see. He then says in 95, they were asking Alite to hit him. Okay, meaning the Gambino family was asking Alite to kill John Gotti Jr. Now, this is something, and, I haven't read all the court transcripts and looked up on every single thing. I'll be the first to admit, could be wrong. Maybe there was some proof that they were going to kill John Gotti Jr. I talked to a couple of guys that were in Howard Beach at that time, and they said, hell no, there's no way they were going to kill Jr. simply because of what his father was. And John Gotti Jr. was definitely running that neighborhood. I don't know, though. I could see them possibly wanting thank you, Hunting Times. I could see them wanting to kill John Gotti Jr. for certain reasons. I know that, he was disrespectful to older guys, captains, people that were in it a long time before he was. And I could also see the jealousy of a young guy like that who was handed the position by his father. Maybe they wanted to kill him. That's fine. But I don't know that there's any proof that there was ever a hit on John Gotti Jr. Okay. And even if I'm wrong, I find it hard to believe, since they weren't close friends like that anymore, why John Alite, with all the killers they still had even then, because he also says that they were actually asking him to kill John Gotti Jr., Peter Gotti, and Carmine Agnello. Okay, so they're going to use, again, some Albanian guy who's just an associate to kill those three people. Okay, really, especially Peter Gotti and John Gotti Jr. So you're going to use an Albanian associate who's not even really still friends with John Gotti Jr. Because I know the thing about they always use the friend. Yeah, but he wasn't friends with him anymore. We all know John Gotti Jr. smacked the shit out of him and chased him out of Howard Beach. So they were going to use this Albanian associate to kill the boss of the Gambino family, his uncle, who I'm not sure, but I think was at least the captain at that time. And if not, as a matter of fact, I think no. As a matter of fact, I'm wrong. I think Peter was running the family with him, so it was like they were working together to run the Gambino family. And Carmine Agnello, while John Gotti Sr. is still alive in prison, okay, they're going to use John Alite to kill the upper echelon of the Gambino family. And then they said, "You ready?" He said, and Leatherface said, why didn't you do it? And he says, well, because John Gotti Sr. gave in to a bunch of demands from the Gambino guys, the faction of the Gambino family that wanted to kill Jr., and agreed to step aside. So from prison, Gotti Sr. stepped aside as a ransom. This is literally what he said, as a ransom to keep his son alive. Now, everybody here who knows anything about John Gotti Sr., does that even seem possible to you? Honestly, because not only was John Gotti Sr. nowhere near being the type of guy who would be willing to even step aside. I'm not saying he didn't love his son, John Jr., but even for that, do you think he'd step aside? Because, even John Jr. said some things about, well, I don't want to get into it, but I don't think, look, Angela's saying ridiculous. So you agree with me, Angela, that this did not happen? because it's insane. It's insane. Alite was going to kill everybody, but then John Gotti Sr. said, no, no, no. As a kind of ransom, I'll give in to all your demands, and then I'll just step aside so you guys can take over. Okay. Mickey Griggs, I never heard or read anything about that. Of course not. Angela says, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, come on. This is the kind of crazy shit you only hear from him. John Gotti Sr. agreed to step aside. Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? Him of all people? And how he felt about that life? You think he's just going to say, okay, I'll step out of the way. Please let my son live. And come on now. And I don't think that he didn't love his son. Of course he did. I just don't think that he was in fear of his son being killed for a lot of reasons. Yeah, I don't want to get into it any further than that because I might say the wrong thing. But let's see what else. Oh my God. Wait, ready for this shit? Oh my God. I don't know how many of you saw this. And I'm sorry I'm going slow here, but I had all this kind of in my head, and then the whole Instagram video with Alite bringing my wife into this shit came out, and I totally, lost, track of some stuff. So I have to go by this stuff I have written down. So Alite says he was asked to kill John Gotti Jr. He says, people wonder how that works. Like, in other words, how was I supposed to kill him, but I keep working for the Gambino family? So he says, and this is actually what he said. He said it's no different than how Gotti killed Castellano, but continued to work for the Gotti family. So in this scenario, he would be John Gotti. He would be, the equivalent of John Gotti. And John Gotti didn't kill Castellano and then continue to work for the Gambino family. He took over the Gambino family. He took it over. Yeah, I'm reading Angel's comments. Yeah, he took it over. He didn't continue to work for the family. And Alite couldn't. That's not the same. It's not the same for 1,000 reasons. First of all, how fucking dare you compare yourself to a man like that? Secondly, you couldn't take over. Okay, you're Albanian. For fuck's sake, you weren't made. You were just an associate, like any other associate. Okay, you were no bigger or badder than any other associate. You couldn't take over the family. So no, it's not. How could you even compare the two? It's so stupid. It's unbelievable. All right. He says, all right, I went over that a little bit. Yeah, I went over that. Okay. Then he says, he's taking the high road. He's talking about the Gotti family. Okay. He starts going into, because it's another, bitch fest about how they're picking on me, and they're not nice to me, and they make videos and they splice tapes together and they make lies. But hearing Alite call anybody a liar is like it's like hearing him call somebody a rat. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. It's so stupid. He's the biggest liar going. His whole entire life, his whole image, his whole persona, his career, it's all built on lies. And he tells more by the day. So then he says, while talking about the Gotti family, that he's been taking the high road. But if they keep punching below the belt, he's going to take the gloves off. And when he does that, they're going to regret it. Another threat. Okay, another threat, because I know he'll say, no, I was just talking about information. You can't say things like that, dummy. But you're probably still somewhat of a protected, the government, you're not a protected witness anymore, I guess, but you're still, their boy, and you'll run to the FBI or do whatever else. But, so they'll keep you a little bit safe and let you get away with some of this shit. Yeah, I know, Angel. I know no one spliced anything. I know he's full of shit. He's a fucking liar. I'm sure any tapes that were played about him were exactly the way they were recorded. They'll regret it. He says, we don't like each other. That's fine. Let's shake hands. Let's forget about it. This guy blows my mind with this. He acts like this is just some, argument the two friends have, and hey, it's over. Let's just shake hands and get over it. Bro, you tried to have the man killed. You testified against him. You stabbed him in the fucking back. You went after his whole family with your nonsense, and you do it till this day. I mean, this guy has no self-awareness. Are you aware at all of who you are, what you've done? This is another thing I say. I can't respect a man who doesn't take responsibility for his actions. Every day you hear me say stuff like I said to Sunny Money. You hear me say things like I did on my addiction video today. Everything in my life that went bad is my fault. The people that are mad at me till this day, I deserve it. They're mad at me because I did something wrong. You know what I mean? And if I go to jail, even if I was ratted on, guess what? If I didn't commit the crime, you couldn't have ratted on me, okay? Personal responsibility. How fucking old do you have to be? What is he, 58, 59? And he still says shit like this, like a fucking school kid who's crying about being bullied? Well, you're such a tough guy anyway. What the fuck do you care about being bullied? Jesus Christ. Let's shake hands and forget about it. Bro, what world are you living in? All right. Oh my God, guys, this is fantastic. Oh my God. He then says, I think Leatherface had asked him why. Why do you think it is that he comes after you? He says, well, he keeps spending money. He keeps coming after me. Is it because of my looks? My popularity? Oh. Did he really say that? Yes, he did. My looks or my popularity? Bro, let me tell you something. If John Gotti Jr. started a podcast tomorrow, people would forget you ever existed. Okay, you drop down to 2 subscribers, okay? And one of them would be your brother. And the other one, I don't know, maybe a family member also. I don't know, like who. Oh no, it'd be Leatherface. Leatherface would be your other subscriber. It'd be your brother and Leatherface. Okay, like you. If John Gotti Jr. wanted to come out and do what you're doing, bro, let me tell you, and I'm one of them. We would forget you even existed, and we would just go watch John Gotti Jr.'s podcast because it would be fucking fascinating. And at least everything he said about his position and who he was would be true, for Christ's sake. What are you talking? Your looks, your popularity? Oh my God! If this guy could he possibly be any more arrogant and just full of himself and full of shit? I don't know. Then he asks, with so many people out there, there's so many bosses out there, so many wild men, whatever that means. Why are you doing it on me? Do we have to go over this again? They're not fucking with John Gotti Jr. They didn't rat on him. They didn't testify against him. They didn't try to get him the death penalty. You did. That's why. My God. Then Paulie D asks, why not be more mad at Sammy than at John Alite? Hold on. Let me get to this real quick. I'm always afraid I'm going to lose these before I get to read them. JC McCallie, $5. Thank you. Sonny Money, you need to get real inpatient treatment help. You can reach out if you need help finding a program. Don't look up to people who attack family. I agree, JC. And I already put that offer out there. And I'm telling you right now, if Sonny Money got a hold of me tonight, and if that's something he needed, I swear to God, I would, and my wife would also, spend the next however long it took, day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is, finding a way to get him in somewhere, finding a facility for him, finding out about, funding for that, whatever it takes, whatever it needs. And I would do that for any kid. But it appears, and I'm sorry, Sonny, if I'm wrong, but it appears that you from what you've said about Suboxone and stuff, that you might need help. So JC is offering too. We're always there for you, bro. All you got to do is reach out. You're on my Instagram now. Just let me know, bro. I want to talk to you at some point anyway. So yeah, Why not be more mad at Sammy than at John Alite? Because Sammy put your father in prison. Um, First of all, Sammy was a real gangster. Okay, the stuff Sammy says on his show and all that is Sammy's actual stories. Does he bullshit a little? I'm sure. I'm sure he adds or takes away from certain things to make himself look better. We've already seen examples of that. But there's 1,000 reasons why John Gotti Jr. should be more mad at you than at Sammy. Sammy did what he did. You know, it's long gone. It's over. John Sr. passed away. Um, yeah, he could put that behind him. And not only that, but let's talk about time frame here. That was 30 fucking years ago. Okay. It's not quite the same. It's been about half that time, not even, since you did what you did. But you know, this is something you did to him personally. Okay. And you continue to. So I don't even want to keep going over that shit. We all know what he did. Alite asks, I forgot about this. Alite says at one point, you know, I don't understand why he's so obsessed with me. Let me ask the outsiders, why is he so obsessed with me? Paulie D answers. It has to be jealousy, envy. I mean, Gotti Jr. is bald and skinny. And then he says, Paulie D says, you know, I look at you and I think, wow, Alite must be fucking a lot of girls. First of all, you're not. That doesn't. I don't know if that appeals to you anyway. I don't want to slander anybody. I'm just saying, I don't think that appeals to you anyway. But what the fuck are you doing putting this much thought into guys when you look at guys? What are you doing? What do you fucking mean? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it if that's the way you are, but just stop talking about shit like you're wondering how many girls he fucks. That's not your concern. And John Gotti Jr. is bald and skinny. And again, you look at guys and the first thing you do is judge their appearance. What if he was bald and skinny? That means he's jealous of Alite? Are you kidding me? John Gotti Jr., the person he is, the things he's done and experienced, not to mention the fact that he was 1,000 levels above you and your boss, who's now, you know, John Gotti Jr. is now a multimillionaire, lives in a beautiful house on a beautiful property, has beautiful kids, just a beautiful family in general. He's jealous of you. First of all, have you seen John Gotti Jr. skinny? That's the last thing I'd call John Gotti Jr. He's pretty, to use your word, jacked. Okay, what the fuck are you talking about? And even if he was, who cares? John Gotti Jr. would probably kill himself before he'd be John Alite for a day, and who could blame him? Weird shit. That dude is strange, man. Then Alite says, oh, this is another one. Junior is jealous because Junior didn't know enough about his father even to make a good movie. And he claims that he knows more of John Gotti Sr. He knows more of John Gotti Sr. than Junior knows. So he knows more about Junior's own father than Junior knows. I don't even have to elaborate on how stupid that is. You guys already know. Okay? Then he claims that Junior has hate for Alite because Alite has a real insight to the street and Gotti Sr., but Junior doesn't. Again, so John Gotti Jr. was never a street guy. He has no insight into the street, and he has no insight into his father, no knowledge of or insight into his father. But Alite, he has all the knowledge and insight into John Gotti Sr. I'm telling you, it's unreal. It's crazy. This is the shit crazy people say. And he said at one part, you know, the way Junior keeps coming after me, this is how, you know, a person who's mentally ill acts. Really, bro? You lie like 45 times a day. Okay, you say stupid shit like you know a man's father better than his son did. Mentally ill. Oh, Jesus. Then he says, Junior's narrative is all lies. Junior's narrative is all lies. He's just talking about Junior's narrative in general. The narrative of, Alite and, his life and his whole narrative is all lies. Again, pot calling the kettle black. What are you talking about? King Liar is calling somebody a liar. That's fucking ridiculous. Let's see. Then they go through pictures. Oh, I'm going to try to go through this fast because it bored the shit out of me. And I don't want to bore the shit out of you. They go through pictures, of course, because John Alite, all he does anymore, his whole career isn't even talking about himself. It's trying to prove that everything he said about himself is true. That's all Alite does anymore. So they start going through pictures. There's one with Ronnie One Arm where they're like together and they're just leaving a funeral. Okay. Then there's one with Alite, two women, and Ronnie One Arm is basically photobombing and he's like all the way in the back. Like you could barely see him. And he's using this as like, this is how tight I was with Ronnie One Arm. That shit was funny. Then there's a pic of him and Junior and other guys shirtless where Paulie D just has to mention how jacked they all are. I just had to point out that Paulie D had to throw that. Oh, shit, I called him Paulie D again. I'm sorry. I have it written that way. Oh, well. The fuck? How jacked they are. Jesus Christ, get off it, bro. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's so fucking strange. All right, then there's another one. Another pic of Junior, some guy who doesn't matter, and a few girls. So that was a big deal, apparently. Then there's another one with him and a bunch of guys that he can only identify by first name. Peter Gotti, who you can't see at all. I'm not even sure it was Peter Gotti. And possibly Bobby Borriello. That's who he says it is. But who knows? Then Mike Jacobs, that guy, he jumps in to tell us how rare these pictures are because they're Polaroids and no one had camera phones back then. Yeah, we know that. How the fuck are Polaroids in the 80s rare? What are you talking about? All right. So then Alite says, back then you didn't take pictures, but they did this time because it was an event for me. Oh, Jesus. Oh, and then he says, and all those guys in that picture, they all ended up getting straightened out at my house. Peter Gotti was in that picture. Bobby Borriello. Maybe he meant just the guy sitting at the table. But again, let's go over this one more time. And I want to add a little something to it. Not only is it ridiculous to say that anyone was made at your house because you're not a member of the mafia and you're not fucking Albanian. I mean, you're not Italian, you're Albanian, and you're just an associate. But, okay, let's just say John Gotti Jr. wasn't the slickest, you know what I mean? And he thought, hey, let's do it at his house because he is just an associate. Then it would simply be because you're a nobody and they wouldn't worry about any type of surveillance. They wouldn't show up at a house to make somebody if that house might possibly have any kind of surveillance, anybody watching it, possibly a wire in the house somewhere, a bug, any kind of recording device. They wouldn't do that. Okay, so which is it? Were you a major figure who was under surveillance and being watched like every other major figure? Or were you such a nobody that John Gotti Jr. was willing to hold those ceremonies, those super secret ceremonies in your house? Which one was it? Explain to us why they would make somebody in your house. Please do that next time. Give us a reason why somebody was made in your house and why they picked your house. Bro, I had drug dealers, mid-level drug dealers on the street that I wouldn't go to their fucking house for a birthday party because I didn't want my picture snapped by the drug task force or whoever was watching. You think they're going to make people in a house that might be under surveillance? No. So if they really did that, which I doubt, then you really were a nobody. Okay, period. It can only be one or the other. Let's see. Oh yeah, and in every picture, Angel, you'll know what I'm talking about in this. In every picture, he's wearing the same white tracksuit. It's so strange. I heard he was kind of a dirty guy back then, but he's always wearing that white tracksuit, and he's real small and like preppy. He looks funny as shit. Um, then he shows another picture of him and Junior, where he says, at this time, Junior is the acting boss. But here's the thing. This is, I pick up on stuff like this, okay? He said he didn't see Junior really after 91. He got locked up in 91, and then he didn't really see him at all after that, except for maybe back in the late 90s, a couple times here and there. Junior didn't become acting boss, or allegedly become acting boss, until after that, till like 92. So either you're bullshitting or you got your time all wrong. But either way, it's not true, because John Gotti Jr. wouldn't have been at your house in that picture when he was acting boss. I could be wrong, but not the way I see it, not by what you're telling me with your own words. Yeah, Angela says, dirty, no teeth until the feds bought teeth for him. Yeah, I heard he used to smell and shit. You know what I mean? So, okay, all right. I was gonna read some comments, but you guys are having a little thing going on in there. Then this shit again. He shows a pic of him and a couple of other people leaving Senior's house as proof. Okay, now there's a couple of these. There's like a video, and I guess he's got a picture. Angela, feel free to jump in right now if you'd like, and explain what he was doing leaving your father's house, your house, and I will gladly read the comment, because it'd be better if it comes from you. And I know people are going to say, "Oh yeah, but the Gaudis would lie. They're trying to rewrite history." Trust me, they don't need to lie about something like this. Angel, this is Angel. She says he was a car blocker. Okay, let me just see something real quick. This might be important. I don't know what this is. But yeah, he was a car blocker, meaning when they would have an event, or if there was something like if Gotti was coming home after one of his trials, something like that, and they had the press all on them, or possibly authorities, that were just following along to be a fucking nuisance, whatever it might be. They would tell Junior, Senior would tell Junior, get 10, 15 guys together, and have them just block, have them come over to the house and just kind of block the press and stuff like that from getting on, getting too close to the house. Isn't that right, Angel? Did I get that right? Let me see what she says. I know I'm smoking again, guys. I'm sorry. There you go. To block the press, from following us to the church for John's wedding. And it makes sense, doesn't it? Of course. I mean, why wouldn't they want to do something like that? And as far as I know, Angel, and you could correct me on this too, or verify this for me, whatever, he never came in the house, right? And on those occasions, he was just simply kind of getting out of the car, maybe walking up to the house and then walking away, right? That's why, if you ever notice in those pictures, he's always walking away, never walking in, okay? So I'm just glad Angel's on here, because I like to have her here to what does that say? Angel, oh, okay, this one. I was reading something else. Angel says no one has any pics of my brother or father on his wedding day. I don't know if she's referring to what I was saying, or if she's referring to something else that's going on in here. What is this? Iceman, Baldy, why are you not talking about what's inside of the documents of people John ratted on? You talking about John Gotti Jr., I'm assuming? If you're talking about John Gotti Jr., I've read them. It's really not a big deal. He gave some information that didn't even really matter on stale crimes and on crimes that were committed by people that already passed away. It was just a kind of a trick to try to see, if he could, he was desperate and he was just trying to see what he could pull off. He was trying to, pull a fast one and, it didn't work out. And if it worked out, guys, for all the people who want to say John Gotti Jr. ratted and he's just as bad, tell me who is in jail because of John Gotti Jr. or whoever went to jail because of John Gotti Jr. Tell me who John Gotti Jr. ever testified against, and tell me why the fuck they continued to put John Gotti Jr. on trial multiple times after that. When a guy rats, they don't turn around and put him on fucking trial if anything he gave them was of value to them. Do you guys understand that? The fact that he kept going on trial is proof right there. Is proof right there that if John Gotti Jr. did give anything of value to the feds, do you think that it would have turned out the way it did? That he would have spent the next, I don't know what, 4, 5, 6 years fighting for his life, spending millions on attorneys and everything else if he was really a rat? That's not what happens to rats, let me tell you, okay? It's stupid. It's such a dumb fucking thing. Show me. Let's bring them on here. Let's bring on his court documents. I've looked through it. Trust me, I looked through it years ago. There's really nothing that interesting in there. I see what he tried to do. Every fucking criminal on the street, including myself, who's been in a pinch, has thought to themselves, I wonder if I could just give them some bullshit. And maybe that'll make them go away. And then you realize it doesn't work and you're like, all right, fuck it. I'm not going to tell on anybody, who I care about. I'm not going to tell on anybody. I'm not going to rat. I'm not going to give in. Fuck it. And let me tell you, like I said, another thing about John Gotti Jr.'s cooperation, if he really cooperated, I've said this before, they would have bought him a fucking private island if he wanted it with the information he probably could have gave. I'm just saying probably. Okay, so no, he would have never went on trial again. His shit would have been cleared up and he would have been on his way. Okay, they don't put you on fucking trial time after time if you really gave them anything that mattered. That's not how it works. All right, I'm going to keep going a little bit here, and then I'm actually going to get off soon, guys, because I need to go spend time with Shanna. And I don't want to be on here forever. It's already an hour and 12 minutes. I don't have much. Yeah, I don't have much left anyway. So the next picture is of him and Junior pulled over after leaving the Ravenite. Okay, this one he loved because he got to say, "Oh, we had just left the Ravenite." That's like, oh my God, to him that's like he loves just being able to say that. But of course, if this picture is even after of them leaving the Ravenite, we wouldn't know that. It's not like the picture comes with GPS. We don't know where the fuck they were before that. But if it was the one time that he was seen there on video, the one and only time in all those years of the Ravenite being probably the most heavily surveilled building in fucking New York City. The one time we saw John Alite on the tape, it had to be the same night because Alite said, "Oh, they pulled us over because they thought I had a gun on me, but I left it next door at the candy store." Yeah, well, then that was the same night, my friend. So don't get all excited that you just left the Ravenite. We already know about that one occasion, and we're not impressed. Okay, you were there to fucking drop off money to John Jr. for your sports book that he was financing. That's it. That's the only reason you were there. All right, then there's a picture of him and his wife at Junior's wedding, and he makes a big deal out of the fact. I think he did this with Victoria's wedding too. On this same interview, he was like 300. His father approved it. I was there because Senior approved it. Now you think he would approve it if I was a nobody or whatever the fuck he said? Yeah. What the fuck? People don't have friends? What, like John Senior? You think the wedding list, John Senior made made guys only or major mob figures only at my son's wedding or at my daughter's wedding? What the fuck are you talking about? If you were good friends with John Gotti Jr., Why wouldn't John Gotti Sr. be okay with you going to the wedding? He actually talks it up like as if John Gotti Sr.'s approval of him being at the wedding is proof that he was somebody real important. I'm quite sure there was 100 people at that wedding who weren't affiliated at all, who were just family members of, both sides, because there was a woman there too. She was the bride. You know what I mean? Like, there was people there that weren't mob figures at all, not even loosely. So what the fuck does that mean? So strange. The way his mind works is like, I think he's running out of ways to bullshit, so he's just pulling stuff out of his ass now. Like, I don't know. Literally a shank, a 13-inch shank. Then he actually says he cared more about Junior's father. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay, I wrote it wrong. But he says him, Alite, cared more about Gotti Sr. than Gotti Jr. did. That's another disgusting fucking thing to say, honestly. I mean, especially if you've seen Junior in his interviews, especially that recording when he went to see his father and kind of asked permission to, leave that life. If you really, what kind of a piece of shit do you have to be? Well, we already know exactly the kind you are to say something like that. Like you loved his father more than he loved. You know how much that man loved his father and that whole family and still do cherish his memory. Did you ever see that interview he did where he's, taking the reporter in the house and shows him the picture of his father and talks about how handsome he is and how he would do anything to make his father proud? You fucking animal. Ugh. And then again with the why me. He names a bunch of famous rats. None of them testified against Junior, by the way. None of them, except for him. And he says, why me? Why isn't he mad at all these other rats? Why is he mad at me? You're the one that testified against them. Not on. Then he threatens Junior not to talk about him anymore. Now, apparently he's on a roll today, even though that interview was probably pre-recorded from another day. But, these are two things that came out today where he made threats. He threatens Junior not to talk about him anymore. Again, no self-awareness. He doesn't understand that he deserves everything Junior throws at him. Let's talk about standing up for our actions again, Johnny boy. Okay, when you fucking make a decision to testify against somebody, you've also made the decision to accept a lifetime of ridicule. Okay, when you become a rat in general, a lifetime of ridicule and insults and slander and whatever the fuck else anybody might want to throw at you because you deserve it. Okay, you asked for that when you became a rat. Period. Then he says the Gotti family doesn't care about Gotti Sr. They only use him to get stuff and get attention and shit. There's at least one member of the Gotti family in here right now. Okay, and I don't even want to ask her to react to that because I'm quite sure it wouldn't be easy for her. But this is the kind of stuff he says. The Gotti family didn't care about Senior. They're just using him. And you know what that is? That's what we call projection, okay? Because he's just using Mob Rat's exposed the Sunny Money here. He's just using the Gotti name to get stuff, to get attention, to get money. Okay, this is what he does with the Gotti name. So he projects, except he doesn't have the awareness to realize he's talking about their father. Okay, you were just a friend of Gotti's who you hate now and who hates you, Gotti Jr. You're talking about how a family feels about their father. Sonny mad at me. It looks like Sonny, you pissed off at me. What did I do? I don't know if you're talking about me, Sonny, but he seems a little angry. My Brad's Exposed says, "Money, Sonny, money, me and you against the world, kid." I don't know. I don't know what Sonny has to say. He looks like he might be pissed off at me. I don't know. Let's see what else there is. Yeah, just that this is coming from a guy who can't make a dime in life without using the Gotti name, and nobody would have any interest in him if he wasn't using the Gotti name. If he wasn't attached to the Gottis, or at least one of them, nobody would give two shits about him. He'd be just like any other associate. We would have never heard about him if it wasn't for the Gotti name. He should be kissing all the Gotti's asses 24 hours a day and buying them gifts and shit. Because if it wasn't for the Gottis, John Alite, you wouldn't even exist to anyone. You'd be nothing. It wouldn't even matter. Your existence wouldn't even matter as far as the public is concerned, or the press, or anything like that. Nobody would care about you. You wouldn't be on any documentaries. You only get that shit because of the Gotti name. But you're the only fucking one out there who isn't in on that joke. You don't realize that, which is just, makes it even more comical. All right, I'm going to read a few more comments, and then I'm going to roll, guys. Yeah, Sonny's pissed off at me. What the fuck did I do to you? Mad I'm talking about Alite? No, that's up to you, man. Sonny Money, you just released a video mouthing off at FBS and wanting to fight him. That you? Did he really? Just recently? Whatever, man. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. Mickey Griggs, he is riding on Gotti's name. Of course he is. That's what he does. Who's Obi-Wan, Mob Rats? Guys, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but just remember, he's a kid. He's just a kid. What do you want me to say to that? I mean, I'm not, like I said, I just won't trash the kid. He could trash me all he wants. Oh, he said, "Yo, I have no drug problem." If that's what I don't, Sonny, I'm just going off of the videos you made about Suboxone. I thought you were on Suboxone, so I just assumed. You don't have to get all pissed off. I don't know what to say. If you want to be pissed off at me, that's fine, Sonny. I've been nothing but kind to you, but it only goes so far. You're helping your friends. All right. Well, what the fuck did you expect me to believe? I don't watch every video, just like you didn't watch mine. You didn't watch my videos from beginning to end, and you didn't know about me right when you were talking. So I didn't watch yours from beginning to end. What do you want me to say? I apologize, guys. Sonny doesn't have a drug problem. I was talking. I was talking out of school. I didn't know what I was saying. All right, Sonny. I want to get off that. Get Sonny on the show. Sonny can come on the show. Carlos Muniz, yeah, Pretty Monita. No one says Gotti more than A Liar. Even the Gottis don't use their name as much as that clown. For real, it's no. I bet you when he signs his name, it's like Johnny A Liar Gotti Associate. Because we've said Gotti A Liar so fucking much that even he's not sure if it's A Light or A Liar, and he puts Gotti Associate in parentheses just so people take him seriously. You guys are fucking with. I'm trying to find comments related to what I was just talking about, but it's cool, man. You guys are having fun. Like I said, Sonny, man, if I was wrong and you don't have a drug problem, I apologize. I'm just saying that if you do, or if you need help in any other way, I know you're probably going through some shit. You can hit me up. That's it. I'm not going to kiss your ass all day. I made the offer, and I'm just trying to be nice. And me and my wife are both trying to be nice. So there's no reason to come at me. If I got something wrong, I got something wrong. You got stuff wrong about me too. You know what I mean? And I totally accepted your apology. So it is what it is, man. That's it. John says, "Yo, dude, Philly stand up, mad respect for you, Baldy. Stay thorough. Fuck the rest of these rat weirdos." Thank you, John. I appreciate that. All right, guys. Sunny Money Freestyle by DJ FBS. Let's go. That should be my new DJ name. I'll tell you what, too. I was thinking about it today, and I got an idea to use my little DJ skills to make a pretty good intro for this channel for each video. I'm not quite sure how to make an intro, but I know how to make the music, if you want to call it, or the mix that I'd like to use for an intro, and it's going to be sick if and when I get it done and I figure out how to actually apply it to the video, because I can't figure out anything as far as this horse shit goes. I'm not sure I did pretty much. He just said that Junior is jealous because he knew more about Junior's father than even Junior did. He has more of an insight into Junior's father than Junior did, and that he cares more about Gotti Sr. than Junior did. That's pretty much all, if that's what you were looking for. Ellen L. Jensen, yeah, that's not true. All this is just mob entertainment. A-Light and Calandra and the Bull. It's all just for money. The more drama, the more views. Don't be a mark. See it for what it is. Listen, all I can say to you guys is I do have some insight into this, and none of it is planned. None of it is a setup or any kind of farce that's being used just to get views. It absolutely isn't. I guarantee you that. It's not. None of us are doing that. All right, guys, I'm gonna get going just because I want to give Jimmy a call and I want to go lay down with my wife. She's not feeling great today, so everybody send her your well wishes, and that's it. Everybody, thank you for the super chats again. You guys are awesome, man. That really meant a lot. I appreciate it so much, and everybody that's helped out. And tomorrow night, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet. I'll announce it tomorrow just in case. I don't want to say what I'm going to do and then fuck up the plans. But I will be on tomorrow. I plan on being on twice. I might do one early in the day and one later at night. I'm not sure. But I will be on tomorrow, and I'll catch up with you guys then. Thank you to all the moderators for helping out. The chat room looked great the whole time. So until then, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Salute.